I'm an artist, photographer, actor, writer, professor. I just opened this gallery here, Rayo Del Alma Gallery, Gifts and Vintage. I was born and raised in Las Vegas, New Mexico. I actually grew up about 30 minutes outside of Vegas in Ojitos Frios. So it's more of a ranching area, more secluded, more open spaces. I spent a lot of my childhood with my grandpa Mijo wandering the nearby mountains. He's the one who initially taught me photography. He had a Mamiya 35mm that I assume he got when he was in World War II, because that's when most of the servicemen, that's when actually those cameras showed up, was the servicemen would buy those cameras and bring them back. And he used to let me use it, play with it. He would teach me basic, what I now know as basic framing, rules, things like that. I didn't know what they were. He was like, hey, take a picture of this. And then he'd be like, so this is what you want to do. And so it was like he built the foundation for my photography and my art without actually teaching me, telling me that's what he was doing. It was like letting me learn by myself, but showing me the way to do it. And I also spent most of my childhood going around the state to arts and crafts fairs for the summer, as my parents were both artists. So I grew up literally around art and learning art. There's one thing from my childhood that really set me onto photography. I was at a yard sale and there was a book, US Camera 1950. It had pieces by Ansel Adams and a bunch of other photographers that we now know as like the masters of photography. So I'm like 8 years old and I'm wanting this book. And my grandpa was like, do you really want that book? This is like, at the time I was almost 40 years old, the book itself. And I was like, yes. And so he bought me the book, probably like $3. I still have it. And just seeing those images, seeing the composition, it really, well, so backing up a bit. When my grandpa was going through chemotherapy, he had it over here in Santa Fe. So depending on how he felt, either before or after, we'd spend our time on the galleries here. And it was the first time I saw moonrise at Hernandez, New Mexico. And seeing New Mexico through someone else's eyes. You know, we grow up around it. We're used to these amazing sunsets, the landscapes. It's something we just take for granted. And then seeing other artists and what they captured, what they can see, it really lit a fire underneath me with seeing with new eyes from a young age and just appreciating what I'm growing up in. And then also while we were visiting the galleries, I noticed there wasn't much local representation. It was mostly people who moved here showing their art, or they were taking pictures of natives and showing natives. You know, it wasn't representative of who we are. And when I say locals, I'm talking people who have been here for like at least 5 years. Going back to, you know, my family, I'm at least 13th generation on the Spanish side. I'm also, and I recently found out, I am Genisado. So the basic explanation for what a Genisado is, it's a detribalized Native American that was bought by the Nuevo Mexicano families as an indentured servant, usually from a young age. So I'm Dene, and I also have, I think my third or fourth great grandparents were from Cojiti. I think we also have some Taos. It's like being all of these cultures has kind of shaped how I am as an artist. And learning about my own history has shaped how I am or what I've become as an artist. So I do photography, I do mixed media stuff. I recently got back into painting, and I was in a bad car accident, so I don't have the control I used to have, but I can do it again. And thanks to the New Mexico Art in Public Places, I was able to open a gallery to showcase local talent. And it wasn't directly from them, it's because New Mexico sets aside 1% of the budget for any new state building or remodel for local artists. They have to buy from local artists. You submit 3 pieces and you're juried in to a pool for 2 years, and they will buy your artwork. So last year I sold many pieces, and I was able to open up this gallery based on the pieces I sold. And it was with the idea that I could bring in other locals. Sorry. So yeah, the idea that we would have representation down here on the plaza downtown. I'll have an overarching plan, but I won't say I'm only keeping artists for like 4 months or whatever. I am open to whatever the flow is. Today it was an artist who I had reached out to a while back, and he was like, can I still bring something in? And I was like, if you can get here before 5, do it. And he did. So for me, it's flow. If I find any pushback, it's kind of like, I'll just be like water and find the easier path rather than this is what I want. Granted, I did want this space. The space had been a storage unit or storage area for like 15 to 20 years. So I had to come in, one of my friends, Raven, and I came in, we painted it, the floors, the walls, cleaned it up, and got it ready for a gallery space. So 5-year plan, I want to make this a local space. I want to have it available, say an artist is like, hey, can I do a poetry reading? We've had a table read here before I was officially open. Desba was like, hey, do you know where I can do a table read? And I was like, I have gallery space. And so I had to take care of some other stuff, so I left her in here and they had a table read that night. I've done some of my own self-tape auditions here. I've done for other friends as well. My idea is a multi-use space for locals. And just having that space is, it's amazing, I think. So these are some shirts that I've designed and pressed myself. So it's obviously a Zia symbol. I also have the Zia symbol with the rebel insignia. I have a Thunderbird, as the Thunderbird is something that I associate myself with. Every time I've made a change in my life, a giant bird has appeared, whether it's cloud form or flames of a campfire, something like that. So I've taken it to being something, if I'm on the right path, it shows itself. Then I have, I love Andy Warhol, so I made New Mexico versions of the soup cans that he does. So my favorite is La Mitad green chili, because La Mitad is better than Hatch. And then Chimayo, because everyone knows Chimayo has the best red. So it's, these are things that I've done. I also have a background in graphic design undergrad. So it's using things that I learned 20-some years ago to create art that I think locals could wear and would like. So I used to paint and draw when I was younger. I was in a bad car accident about 15, 16 years ago, and I lost almost complete use of my right hand. They told me I'd never be able to use it again. Then through a freak accident, 5 years after the car accident, I used to manage a gallery in Madrid, and I was showing a new hire how to use the slumping kiln. I lifted the lid, and I was like, hey, sparks. And then I felt the shock go from my left hand across my chest, and I was shooting flames out of my right hand. Apparently I was enveloped in a blue flame, but I got full feeling back in my hand. I still don't have quite the dexterity and control. It randomly twitches because of the nerve damage, but this is the first piece I've done since the accident. It's acrylic on canvas, it's Hermit's Peak. It's titled El Ermitaño. Hermit's Peak is a storied peak near Las Vegas, New Mexico, northern New Mexico. The story is there was a hermit from France, I believe, who lived in a cave up here on the peak itself, and it became known for his cave and named after him. I've loved Andy Warhol since I was a child. And again, these are my homage to Warhol with a bit of New Mexican flavor. So these are other pieces I've been working on. Mixed media, acrylic, ink, vinyl, glitter. So it's mixed media pieces that I'm doing on canvas. These are my photographs. They're long exposure, between 25, 30 seconds exposure of the night sky. I call them nightscapes. I've been calling them that about 20 years when I started doing them. They're mainly printed on on aluminum. They're mainly printed on aluminum. It's an infused aluminum process. So they heat up the aluminum sheet and then inject the dye directly into the aluminum. There are other metal print processes, but all they do is they'll print a regular photo and then glue it onto the aluminum itself. So these are actually in the metal. You can see the different backings that I have where, like, this is a sheer, there's no white base coat, and it changes the look and feel and the depth of each photo depending on the type of finish or backing you choose. So I'm also a professor at Northern New Mexico College. I teach film history with a focus on New Mexico film history, intro to photography, and digital media literacy. I love the students. It's wonderful to share what I've learned with locals who love seeing themselves represented. You know, growing up, I didn't see my family represented very well in the arts, TV, anything. And it's very important to have representation. Thank you for having me on the program, and please come visit Rayo Del Alma Gallery, Gifts and Vintage, 130 West Pellis Avenue, Suite A, downstairs in Santa Fe, off the plaza.